Welcome to my house. My 4-year-old is making some beautiful background music for us right now. I just wanted to talk a minute about an experience I had today and relate it with you. So one thing that we have a hard time with, us with ADHD, is keeping track of time. And this is because of two reasons. One is that we have something called hyperfocus. And this is where we get so into something that we have no idea how much time actually has passed. This one's really hard for my wife because sometimes she'll be like, "How long have you been working on that?" I'll be like, "Oh, like 10 minutes or something." And she's like, "It's been like 4 hours." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." You can attest to that, honey?
Yes.
Yes. So the other one that's hard is the reason why we have hard time schedules is because a lot of times when people are giving you information like, "Oh, this assignment is due at this time," or whatever it may be, we're having a little ADHD distracted mind daydreaming episode, and so then everybody will be turning in their assignments and we're like, "What assignment?" And yeah, so that's the other thing that's bad. People giving out like, "Oh yeah, the activities at this time or that time." And I just miss all that stuff. So that's hard for me. However, what can we do about this as parents? So one example is my kids, all right? Particularly the one with ADHD is the one we're talking about. So it's time for us to go to school, okay? It's the morning time. We've had all morning to get dressed, to get ready, and we are ready to get in the car and go. And the shoes aren't on, and they haven't finished the food yet, and they don't know where the coat is, they don't know where their backpack is, and it's time to go right now. And what do we do? How do we fix this? So I want to talk about one thing you can do to help your ADHD kid, and that is putting the responsibility on them instead of on you. As parents, we love to worry about our kids. And we think, well, if we don't worry about it, it won't happen. They won't do it. And it won't at first. This is true. But there's only one way that they can learn, and that's from consequences. Well, sometimes they can learn from us telling them, but that doesn't seem to be as effective, at least not with my kids or with me. Let me give an example. So my wife is super, super organized, and I rely on her a lot for things. That's just kind of what has happened in our relationship. She knows when things are due, and she knows when the bills are coming up, and all these things like that. I have no idea. However, when I got to medical school, my wife wasn't there to help me, to tell me when the assignments were due, when the test was, or what the subjects were in the book to study, and all these things like that. And so I did terrible at first, and I had to compensate for this. I got natural consequences. So how did I compensate? Well, I took the responsibility. I started setting alarms on my phone. I started putting alarms in my calendar. I took care of the things that I needed to take care of. So consequences are the best way for us to learn. Without it, we just rely on our parents or our friends or our spouses or whatever it may be. So we have to put the ball back in their court. And so this is the conversation with my kids look like. I said, "All right, kids, here's the deal. I have not been helping you by telling you every few moments when we're going to be that's my other daughter, when we're going to be going and warning you and telling you to put your shoes on, telling you to put your coat on, all these things. That's not helping you. So we're going to stop doing that. This is what we're going to tell you. The car will leave at 7:40 or whatever time it is. That's when the car leaves, if you're in it or not in it. And the only way for me to help you go into a responsible adult is to hold you accountable and make it your responsibility to be totally ready at that time. Now, if you need help with something, let's say you can't undo your shoelace or something, you can come ask me for help, but it needs to be before that time, because at that time, the garage door will be opening, the car will be exiting the garage, and I will be leaving at that time. And if you're not in the car, then that is not okay. I mean, you're going to have consequences, because how are you going to get to school? So I don't know, talking about this, sitting down, having a real conversation about what to do in those circumstances. How you have to do some chores to make it up for me. Maybe you'll need to pay me some money for a ride. How are you going to fix this? Putting the ball back in their court. letting it be their problem, because we as parents love to make it our problem. And unfortunately, I often make it my wife's problem. This is not fair to her. We're supposed to be at this church activity or this thing for the kids or the bill's supposed to be due. And that's not okay. And so I need to work on that. And some ways that I've worked on that, some of it she does like to do. She likes to take care of that sort of thing. But one way that I've compensated for that is putting things in my calendar. And then I'm on my computer a lot, and a little thing pops up on my phone and tells me I'm supposed to be different places. So we are capable of keeping track of ourselves, but not if it isn't our responsibility. So parents who want to help your kids, make it their responsibility. Have a little conversation about it and tell them what you're going to do, and then resist that urge to save them. Oh, he was so close. You know what? If he wasn't in the car at that time, what's the bus going to do when he's trying to get down to college on the bus? Is the bus going to wait? Oh, well, that guy was really close. No, it leaves at a certain time. What about his manager at work? Is his manager at work going to be like, oh, well, you were almost on time, so it's okay? No, you're going to get fired. That's just the way it works. You don't show up, you get fired. So it's better for them to have failures. And that's the real takeaway here. Let them fail. Let them fail with the small things now. Because being late to school one day and having to do a bunch of chores is much better than having them lose their career or be late to their wedding or be late to things their entire life, and everyone things are, because it's always been mom's responsibility to keep track of things. So some of the responsibility needs to be put back on us as people with ADHD, or else we're just not going to grow properly. That's like using a crutch our whole lives, and we'll never know how to work with it. And you can teach us how to do that. That's wonderful. Teach the kids how to do it. But they ultimately, it needs to be our responsibility. And you can have this conversation with them. Anyway, a book that is really good that deals with this is Parenting with Love and Logic. I really like it. I talk about this subject in my book as well, getting organized, not just organizing your day, but organizing your life as a person with ADHD. Consciously fitting together the action and consequence in your life. And so, yeah, good luck. And you can do it. And we can do it too.